Okay, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you're, maybe it's the middle of the night. I don't know when you're watching this. Here is the answer key to your study guide for your quiz. Of course, West kiddos, your quiz will be on Tuesday, and Miller kiddos, your quiz will be on Wednesday of next week. So let's just jump into it. For the first two questions, you're finding the slope, right? So ordered pairs were given, and of course the graph. So I'm just going to use my graph method. So I'm going to fall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be my -5 in my numerator. And then I run 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be my slope. Remember that M stands for slope. Question number 2, I'm going to do the same thing. I fall 1, 2, 3. So M equals -3 in my numerator, and then I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be my slope for question 2. Question 3, I'm going to get out a highlighter here so you guys can see the line. So here is the line on question 3. So if you remember with Mr. Slopeface, a vertical line has a slope of undefined. Right? There's that U underneath his nose. And then this one, the slope happens to be horizontal. And we all know from Mr. Slope's super sad face that that means the slope is 0. He has those little zeros on either end of his mouth. Okay, so that's questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Question 5 and 6, we're finding slope from the table. So remember, I'm going to figure out what's happening between my y values, and that's going to be my numerator. And then I'm going to figure out what's happening between my x values, and that's going to be my denominator. So I take the change in the y, my rise or fall goes in my numerator, and then my run, my change in x, goes in my denominator. So for number 6, we'll do the same thing. It looks like it's increasing by 8 for my y's. And then it looks like it's increasing by 2's for my x's. And then, of course, I'm going to simplify to 4/1 or 4. I would accept either of those answers. Okay? Because like it says on my wall, you always have to simplify. All right, so that's page 1. Let's move on to the second page. This is where we're finding slope from 2 points. So I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. Then I'm going to write out my slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I will give you this formula while you're taking the quiz. Okay, so this will be available to you to look at. You don't have to memorize this. So then remember, I'm going to put my x's and y's into my thing. So y2 is 8 minus -3. So I'm going to add. And then 5 for my x2 minus 5. So I end up with 11 over 0. And then I know sometimes it's hard to remember if this is going to be a 0 slope or undefined. So if you get out your trusty calculator, if I do 11 divided by 0, I get an error. That tells me this is an undefined slope. So for number 7, my slope is undefined. Which hopefully you're thinking in your head, oh, okay, so that's a vertical line. Cool, cool. All right, let's do number 8. I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to write out my formula again, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 5, y1 is minus -1, so that's going to turn to adding. And then x2 is -1 minus 3, because I have a 3 for x1. So I'm going to get 6 over -4, which I'm going to simplify to -3 over 2. I'm not going to change it into a mixed number. And I always remember put the negative with the numerator. If you didn't, it's okay, but you absolutely need to simplify. Okay, so for number 9 and 10, we just finished doing this. We're going to identify the slope and y-intercept from each linear equation, and then we're going to graph it. So if you recall, the slope is the number right here. So my slope is going to be 4/1. I always put the 1 there so I remember to move up 4 and then over 1. And my y-intercept is this -5, so it's going to be 0, -5. So then I'm going to take this, I'm going to plot my y-intercept at -5. And then I know that from there I go up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. For the quiz, I mean, you just need to have 3 points, but if you want to do more than that, you can. But I need to see at least 3 points. So then I would graph that. Right? So I found my slope, I found my y-intercept, and I graphed it. Let's do number 10. So my slope, remember, is right here in front. So I've got -2 over 3. And my y-intercept is this number hanging out by itself. So 0, 2. So I'm going to plot my y-intercept right here on my graph. And then my slope is -2 over 3. So that tells me to go down 2, fall 2, forward 3. Fall 2, forward 3. And then if I want to go backwards, I can go up 2 and back 3. Up 2 and back 3. And that's also for if you don't have enough room in the graph. You just kind of go the opposites to get the points. And you'll know if you did it right because it'll look like it's supposed to be part of the line. So there's number 10 for you. Now let's move on to number 11 and 12. That's it. This is what your quiz will contain, 12 questions. For items 11 and 12, identify the slope and y-intercept, then write the equation. So I didn't realize there was a table one on here, so that's why we didn't have notes on it, but if you're watching this video, you'll be like, oh, that was easy to figure out. Okay, so my slope here, -2, so that's my numerator, that's my fall, over 4. I'm going to simplify that to -1/2. My y-intercept, remember, is where the line crosses the y-axis. So see where I wrote that really obnoxious point there? So that's going to be my y-intercept, which is 0, because it's always 0 for the x value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to create my equation. So y equals, this is my slope, -1/2 x. This is my y-intercept, plus 5. And then on the table, this one, I mean, you should be able to find the slope from a table because you already had done it earlier in the review. So this is adding 2. So that's going to be my numerator. And then adding 1. So 2 over 1 is my slope. The y-intercept, remember I've been having you guys write the y-intercept as an ordered pair where x is always 0. So to find the y-intercept from a table, you're going to look for where x is 0. So this is going to be my y-intercept, 0, -3. And so then my equation will be y equals 2x minus 3. Okay? So your quiz will be very similar to this. If you feel confident and ready to go on this, you're going to do great on the quiz. If you're still struggling a little, you can always go back and look through your notes. You can look back through all the assignments we've done. Of course, I'll take questions before the quiz. So I will see you guys either Tuesday or Wednesday. I hope you have a good weekend, or I hope you had a good weekend. All right, thanks guys, bye.